Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core. This is a game designed by Andrew Hott and published by Gale Force 9. This has been a big one that I've been really looking forward to all year because I love the Aliens franchise. You've already seen on the channel I've covered the Aliens RPG. Now we've got the Aliens board game, and this is going to be a cooperative survival game as it says on the cover, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. Something is wrong in Hadley's Hope. Walking through the dark corridors, you can see a one-sided struggle went down here. Sparkling wires and flickering lights give you some fleeting glimpses of the carnage. Debris is scattered everywhere, and broken furniture has been hastily pushed into makeshift barricades, but no people. Where are the bodies? You and your team of specialist colonial marines will gear up with serious firepower and head into Hadley's Hope to find survivors and answers. But you're not alone. To survive, you'll need to work together, keep your cool, and stay frosty to fight off relentless xenomorph ambushes and get out of there alive. And here's an example of the components you'll get with the game, and at the bottom it lists we get 4 double-sided game boards, 23 plastic miniatures, 45 motion tracker cards, 60 endurance cards, 7 character cards, a rulebook, card dock, 9 mission cards, 8 dials, 84 tokens, and 3 dice. The game plays in 1 to 2 hours. It is for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up. And there's the miniatures that we'll be getting with the game, but we'll take a look inside the box and see what we get. All right, we got our rulebook, mission cards, assembly guide for our miniatures, got our token sheets and dials and player cards, game boards, miniatures, some dice, cards, plastic for the dials, and a couple more card decks. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the game. And we'll take a look at the 4 map boards that come with the game in one of the configurations available to you. This is the interior of Hadley's Hope, or at least a portion of it. There are hallway connectors on the top and bottom on both sides, which means there's room for growth. It's great to see that there is room to expand, and these are double-sided. On the back, we have the atmospheric processing plant, so you'll have 2 distinct locations, and you can also match them up together. You can start at the interior of Hadley's Hope and work your way down inside the atmospheric processing plant. And these, as you can see here, these are nice thick chipboards, so they're going to withstand some abuse. And I think you could probably even match up if you've got any other games that have tiles with 1-inch grids. I think you could probably mix and match things up and create your own missions using other tiles as well. So you're not just limited to what comes with the base game, but overall I think this is going to be really cool, very atmospheric. You definitely can tell you're in the Aliens universe. Now we'll take a look at the token sheets. The top here we've got Xeno tokens. These will go under the miniatures. That shows you the strength of the Xenos in that one location. Then we have face huggers, the smart gun, barricaded tokens. We've got some supply crates, blip tokens. We've got the newt token, and we've got some tunnels, and then the spawn points. This is where the aliens will spawn on that map, which will be dictated by the scenario setup. And on the next sheet, we have a bunch of dials that we'll be building to keep track of different statuses in the game. Then we have some more blip tokens, and now we get into the character cards. The stats on the front are the stats you will use as the player when you are playing as the hero, and when you're not playing as the hero and no one's using them, you'll just use the grunt side, which is going to be a little weaker than the heroic side. We get into some more of the characters: Frost, Gorman, and Vasquez. And on the last sheet, we have the card organizer, some exit tokens, another dial, reshuffle card, the newt character, and then the activation token. All right, we'll take a look at the scenario cards that come with the game. On the front, it'll give you the board layout, and then on the right-hand side, you have the setup key, what tokens need to go out on the map. And on the back, we'll give you the mission goal, your extraction, where the computer is so you can do your tech tests, game over man, how you will lose the game. Then you get your motion tracker deck, how that's set up, drawing your motion tracker cards, and then campaign notes. And then if there's a character or any special events or special information for the mission, it'll be over here on the right hand side. Obviously in this first one, it is recovering Newt. and how Newt will be handled. And then we get to mission 2, Escape. We get into the atmospheric processing plant. We see the text on the back of the card there. And then mission 3 is Survive. Then we get to the rescue mission, supply mission, and then we get into the bug hunt. This is just survival mode. You're trying to basically exhaust your deck and survive till the end. And if you have one man standing, you win the scenario. If not, everyone loses. We get into the atmospheric processing plant for a bug hunt, and then Outpost Alpha 116, and then the supply depot, and that is the end of the scenarios. We'll take a look at some of the cards that come with the game. This is the blip deck, and this is where you're going to be spawning your aliens from. You flip it over, and here it's going to tell you to add another blip token and where the location will be. Remember those tokens we looked at before? This is a spawn location. It's also going to tell you what to do. In this instance, it says if this spawn point already has a blip or alien model, move this blip 4 spaces towards the nearest character. Now we'll take a look at the equipment cards here. We have the M41A pulse rifle. Gives you the cost and then also the text on how to utilize this card to attack with this weapon. We have the Ithaca 37 shotgun, HK pistol, M40 grenades, M56 smart gun, and of course, the M240 flamethrower. Then we have some more equipment cards, the M4 helmet, a flare, shoulder lamp, arc welder, Hadley's Hope map, bypass for when you want to hack past the door, and the medical scanner. And we'll take a look at some of the event cards. I Feel Safer Already lets you re-roll a failed defense roll. We've got knives, we've got sharp sticks. Search the exhaust pile for any one card and add it to your hand. Stop your grinning and drop your linen. Here we've got reveal a card, search the exhaust pile for any one card and add it to your hand, or look at the top 5 cards of the motion tracker deck. Choose to put any of those cards on the bottom of the deck, returning the rest to the top of the deck in any order, and then just deal with it. Discard a card from the top of the endurance deck to shuffle a hazard card on a character into the exhaust pile. Then we have the hazard cards, Losing Hope, Blinding Rage, Game Over Man, and Burke's Treachery. And we'll take a look at these sprues of miniatures that come with the game. These do need to be put together. And you see I'm missing one that was Vasquez. And in true Vasquez fashion, she kind of ditched out and dove headfirst into the alien pile here to take them on. But we've got bases for each of them, and then the different arms and weapons and things that will be associated with that specific miniature. Pretty simple, straightforward to put together. They've got the directions here that I'll show you that explain to you how they're going to go together. And these don't look difficult at all to put together. It's just a single sheet of directions, and just put them together. Use glue, obviously, to put them together. I would recommend using one of my favorite glues, which is the Tamiya Extra Thin. This goes on, you have a nice brush applicator to use, and you can control where you put that glue. Some people will use super glue. I'm not a big fan of using super glue for things like this because the setup time is a lot faster unless you use some of the longer curing ones, but at the same time, I would prefer to use the Tamiya Extra Thin. It will weld the plastic together so you have a much better bond, and then you can also kind of touch up with some sanding on those seams, clear up some flash. There does look to be some flash on the sides. There's obviously mold lines on them too, not really too bad, but for a board game, you can slap these together, wash them, prime them, and put a coat of paint on them, and they're going to be good to go real fast. Same for the Xenos. Obviously, all black. You really don't even have to paint them if you didn't want to. You don't have to paint the Marines either, but I think it'll make it a much nicer presentation when you paint it and put it on the table. And you can see the Xenos are pretty straightforward as well. There are some steps here, like a few steps to put them together, but not going to be difficult at all to put these together. And the quality of this plastic looks pretty good. It's not soft, detail's pretty good, and it seems to be pretty sturdy. So it's not too hard, it's not too soft. It's just right, I think, for miniatures for this game. And we'll take a look at the rules. This is a 28-page full-color rulebook. On the inside of the front cover, we have the game overview. Then we get into the components, a whole component breakdown for you so you know what each of the components is. Then we have a graphical game setup, and it is annotated on the top, and it corresponds to everything on the right-hand side here with mission cards, game boards, character cards, heroes, grunts, newt. Gear up your characters, building your endurance deck. Aim dials, motion tracker deck, spawn points, alien models, your turn dial, exit tokens, activation token, character models, and then we get into the endurance deck. Now, the cards that we looked at before, the equipment, events, hazards, all, that is what consists of your endurance deck. You will use those cards to equip your Marines, but also at the same time, the remainder of the cards will be used for the endurance deck. And the key is, as it says here, important, if at any time there are no cards in the endurance deck and the exhaust pile, all players immediately lose the game. So managing your endurance deck is essential to your survival. And that's something to keep in mind. There are 3 different spots for the deck. There is the exhausted, there is the deck itself, and then there are discard piles. So you want to make sure that, as it says here, the exhaust pile and the deck itself are not empty at any one time, because if they are, that's it, game over, man. So then we get into the card types, which we've already looked at, revealing your cards and how that's handled. The exhaust pile, discard pile, and then your game board elements. You have spaces, doors, walls, barricaded doors. Then you have your game turns, how that's broken down, your Marine phase, all the steps that you'll take for your Marines. And then we get to line of sight and attack. Line of sight's pretty straightforward. If you can see it, you can shoot it. If there's anything in the way, you can't see it. Line of sight, very straightforward, very easy to understand. Barricade, your aim dial, your interact, your reset for all your actions, and then resolve all end of activation capabilities. Then we get to the alien phase, and it explains how the Xenos are handled, their attacking, how they get knocked down, they're captured, how you activate your blips. The blips are going to move across the board because remember, the motion tracker in the movie, when they saw the blips, they didn't know what they were at that time. And then when the blips came closer and closer and they can get a visual on them, that's when they knew they were Xenos. In the game, we're going to know they're Xenos, but that's how the blips are handled. Then you have to spot them. Attacking your alien swarms, that's what I was talking about before, where you take those Xeno tokens, you put them underneath the individual miniatures. That's how you're going to get your swarms. Then we get to step 3, draw your motion tracking cards. And then we have the finish phase. And then we mission rules on page 24. There's campaign play for the 3 missions, Newt, Escape, and Survive. Then there are extra missions, the Bug Hunt missions, which is just the survival mode. And then we get to the mission tokens, how all that's handled. And then there are some other rules and a keyword glossary. And then on the back of the rulebook is the quick reference guide. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Corps. This is a game designed by Andrew Hott and published by Gale Force 9. Been real excited about this since it was first announced, and it is finally here. In time for the holidays, in time for the break, everyone's going to be taking their breaks from work, school, things like that. It's a cooperative game, which means it can be played solitaire. And being that a lot of us are stuck at home and we can't get out and play with our friends, we're going to have to play games solitaire. If we have family members that are gamers, we can get them to play, which is great because it's cooperative. And even family members that may not be gamers would probably jump into something like this because the rules are not difficult and it's a familiar IP and it's got these cool miniatures. Like I was saying before, these minis are really good. They need some, they need to be put together, but not difficult to do. Got good detail, good plastic. You slap some paint on them, they put them on a table, they're going to look fantastic. And who doesn't want to get into the Aliens environment? It's just a really cool action environment to be in. So that right there should draw a lot of family into the game. And these tiles, it comes with 4, double-sided. You get a couple different locations, you get plenty of scenarios, but you can also add other tiles from your other games into this and create your own scenarios. They don't look like they're difficult to create, and I'm sure the community is going to expand on the game further by adding more scenarios. So this game definitely has a lot of legs to it, and I'm looking forward to getting it on the table and shooting some Xenos in the face pretty soon. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.